Hello everyone, today I'd like to provide some insights into Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies in Hawaii, information that might be helpful for residents looking to make future purchases with confidence. Since the US is vast, laws vary by state. I have lived in Hawaii for a long time, but I relocated to Georgia at the end of 2024. Therefore, my perspective is based on my experience as a Hawaii resident. I appreciate your understanding. However, I believe this information will also be useful for those living on the United States mainland. Before we begin, English is my second language, so I may mispronounce words or say things in a way that is unclear. I appreciate your understanding. Thank you. Let's begin. There has been a long-standing belief that buying and selling Bitcoin in Hawaii is illegal due to state regulations. This perception stems from an incident back in 2017. At that time, a resident of Hawaii attempted to purchase Bitcoin through Coinbase, a major and well-known cryptocurrency exchange. However, they were denied the transaction with a message saying, "You cannot make this purchase because you reside in Hawaii." At that time, the state of Hawaii had a law known as a double reserve requirement. Under this regulation, the Hawaii government stated, "Cryptocurrency is not physical money and we don't believe that invisible, intangible currency can ensure the safety of users. If a company wants to do business in Hawaii, it must hold an equivalent amount of physical money, legal tender, to match the amount of cryptocurrency it holds." This requirement was simply too burdensome, and as a result, cryptocurrency exchanges across the board gave up on entering the Hawaii market. Coinbase was one of them. Since there were no platforms where Hawaii residents could buy Bitcoin, the rumor began to spread that Bitcoin is illegal in Hawaii, even though that wasn't technically true. Yet the times were clearly moving in the direction of cryptocurrencies. That's when the pilot program was introduced, a test initiative for cryptocurrency trading in Hawaii. This program allowed companies that didn't meet the double reserve requirement to operate cryptocurrency transactions in the state. It was launched in the summer of 2020. A total of 22 companies applied to participate. However, only 11 of them were officially approved by the state of Hawaii, obtained money transmission licenses, and were allowed to begin actual operations. Here is the list of those companies. That pilot program was initially scheduled to last 2 years. There was uncertainty about what would happen after June 2022. However, by December 2021, 134,000 Hawaii residents had purchased cryptocurrency through the 11 participating companies, and the total transaction value had exceeded $800 million. This strong adoption suggested that the program might continue, and sure enough, it was eventually extended until June 2024. Then in June 2024, the pilot program, once expected to continue, officially came to an end. It was announced that moving forward, digital currency companies would no longer be required to obtain a money transmission license issued by the state of Hawaii in order to conduct business within the state. A new era for crypto in Hawaii with regulatory barriers lifted. Hawaii residents now have broader access to digital currency markets through a growing number of exchanges. Still, for many users, trust remains a key factor. Companies that navigated the earlier regulatory landscape and obtained official licensing may continue to enjoy a stronger sense of credibility and user confidence. Their willingness to comply with the rigorous standards, despite the challenges, has set a precedent for ethical and stable cryptocurrencies operations in the Aloha state. So now let's take a look at what has happened to the companies that obtained money transmission licenses under Hawaii's 2020 pilot program. We'll go through them in alphabetical order from the top. Apex Crypto, backed acquired in April 2023, headquarters are located in Georgia and New York, publicly listed on the New York Stock Exchange, continues to offer crypto services via partners platforms. Bitflyer USA, US version of Japanese company, fully operational, remains a regulated exchange with active services in the US. This is a very familiar name to me as a Japanese person, but I was surprised to find that in the US, it doesn't seem to have the same recognition. The iOS app, for example, has only 249 user ratings and a relatively low score of 4.3 stars. BlockFi, it went bankrupt. It closed its online platform on May 31, 2024. Refund process continues through Coinbase for customers who have not yet received their refunds. Cloud Nalu, still active in Hawaii, offers Bitcoin services and software development locally. Previously, transaction fees were displayed, but details are no longer listed on the website. Coinme, active and expanding. The way this service works is quite unique. Have you seen those green Coinstar machines at grocery stores? The ones where you pour in your loose change and it counts it up and gives you paper bills in exchange. Well, the same machine can be used to buy Bitcoin. After purchasing, you'll receive a receipt with a transaction code printed on it. By entering that code on Coinme's website or app, the Bitcoin gets transferred to your Coinme wallet. Originally, Bitcoin purchases were only available through Coinstar machines, but now you can also buy through MoneyGram, a nationwide money transfer chain. To do so, you first make the purchase within a Coinme app. Then you visit MoneyGram location to complete payment. After that, the Bitcoin appears in your Coinme wallet. You can now also purchase using a debit card. As for withdrawing your funds, there are two options. After completing the withdrawal process, a partnered ATM location will be displayed where you can retrieve the cash. Alternatively, you can transfer the funds to a debit card with a Visa logo. What makes this especially interesting is ability to buy Bitcoin with cash. However, the fees are relatively high, so for those concerned about cost, it may not be the most economical option. Still, it's a convenient solution for making casual purchases while out and about. Next is ErixX. CBOE acquired the company and renamed it CBOE Digital. Although it operates as a trading platform primarily for institutional investors, it appears that individual investors can also use the service. Transaction fees, however, were not disclosed. Flexor Network, active and expanding, functions as a payment system for businesses, provides payment infrastructure that enables companies to accept Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Gemini Trust Corporation, operated by Bitcoin billionaires the Winklevoss twins. Referral program available, link in the description. Please see it below. Gemini's credit card offers cashback in cryptocurrency. iOS app has received high ratings from 105,000 users. Referral Financial, by setting up a recurring purchase, transaction fees will be waived. Overall, the pricing is relatively low compared to other companies. If you deposit funds into your dollar account, you'll receive Bitcoin with an annual interest rate of 3.85%. This is also a referral program. Please check the description section. The iOS app has received high ratings from 5,500 users. While the number isn't huge, but rating is exceptionally high at 4.9 stars, making it stand out. SoFi originally started as an online bank. It now offers both stock and cryptocurrency trading. The only concern is that SoFi temporarily withdrew from the crypto space in 2021 and again in 2024. However, the operations have since been transferred to blockchain.com, so we believe things will be stable moving forward. There is also a referral link for investment accounts. Please check the description section for details. Uphold looks like it's experienced occasional service disruptions but remains active. Uphold does not publicly disclose its fee structure. Looking at the app, it has received high ratings from 76,000 users, so it's likely a major platform, even if I wasn't personally familiar with it. Here's a quick recap. Hawaii had a double reserve requirement, which no company was able to meet, making cryptocurrency sales impossible. As a solution, the state government launched a pilot program in 2020 to allow cryptocurrency purchases, approving 11 companies. The pilot program was discontinued at the end of June 2024. Digital currency companies no longer need to obtain a money transmitter license issued by the state of Hawaii to operate within the state. By the way, the reason I created this video is because as of the end of June 2024, when the program ended, the only platforms where we could directly purchase Bitcoin were the ones listed below. Since then, I believe it's become possible to buy Bitcoin through most services. However, I still think that the companies that applied early for Hawaii's pilot program and successfully obtained licenses are among the more trustworthy ones. That's why I wanted to introduce them to you. The following are the two companies I've been using since the pilot program period. I've also recently started using Coinbase, one of the major platforms, simply because I was curious, being such a big name. There is a referral link available as well, so please check the description for details. That said, Coinbase does not publicly disclose its exact trading fees, which is a bit of a drawback. Okay, key things to know about cryptocurrency transactions. Bitcoin was once said to allow anonymous transfers, but regulations on service providers, US or FAC regulations, have tightened. To use a Bitcoin exchange, registration typically requires a government-issued ID, social security number, and other documentation. Therefore, if you sell and make a profit, you are required to pay taxes to government. The buying and selling price of Bitcoin includes an added spread. Transaction fees apply. They may be charged at the time of purchase, at the time of withdrawal, or in both cases. Even if a company advertises tight spreads, the transaction fees might be high. On the other hand, when transaction fees are low, there may be withdrawal fees instead. So in the end, when you factor everything in, the total cost may not differ much between platforms. That concludes the guide on cryptocurrency in Hawaii. Cryptocurrencies have reportedly seen an average annual increase of 66%. Bitcoin is now priced above $10,000 and many believe it still has room to grow, so why not consider holding a small amount? If you found this video interesting, I'd really appreciate your support through a like or by subscribing to the channel. Until next time, take care and thank you for watching. Bye!